Hello everyone, I'm Ryan Rodig, and it's a pleasure to be joined today by the only two players in Major League Baseball history that were inducted into the Hall of Fame wearing their Milwaukee Brewers caps on their induction plaques. Robin Yount and Paul Molitor, thank you guys very much for joining me. First, I just have to ask you, we'll start with Robin. An event like this, baseball gave you guys so much, obviously. Is it just part of your duty as a retired baseball player to give back? Is that why you're here, helping UW Lacrosse raise some money?
Well, I think so. Anytime you hear a program, especially a college program like this, is in jeopardy of losing baseball, if you can help, certainly we're going to be there. And if this does that, we're more than happy to do it.
And just getting to be here and being with the fans and sharing stories and you know, helping raise money, that's got to be a good feeling for you.
No doubt about it. You know, Brewer fans have always been statewide, if not beyond that. So to get out down here to Lacrosse and be able to help out, hopefully stabilize the UW Lacrosse baseball program, get a chance to hang out with a couple of my buddies I don't get to see very often anymore, and you know, raise some money. When we heard 1,000 people were coming out today, unbelievable. So we're excited about the night.
And speaking of those buddies you referenced, a lot of your teammates, and you can't get you guys together without talking about the 1982 Brewers. I'm sure everywhere you go, that's a lot of the talk. The only Milwaukee Brewers team ever to go to the World Series. And, of course, I mean, Robin, that was your first MVP year. And the Igniter over here ignited America with the 39-game hit streak that year. And if we're talking about the 1982 season, what is it that jumps out to? I mean, we know as fans what we remember about that season. What do you most remember?
Well, personally, I think every little kid that's ever put a baseball uniform on, from the time he knew what a baseball was, knew what a World Series was. And I think it's every kid's dream to play in a World Series. For me, you know, I had a 20-year career here in Milwaukee. That was my one. So, without a doubt, of my 20 years, 1982 was the highlight. I got to live out a dream that I'd had since I was a youngster. Paulie fortunately got to get into another one and win one, but for me, like I say, it's I don't even have to think twice about it when I talk about my most exciting year of my career was by far 1982.
Does anything stand out about that year that was just so different than any other year? I mean, obviously you had the backing of the entire state, and just the joy of the people to have that World Series experience, obviously, to me, stands out as something I remember.
Yeah, you know, a couple of things. It's amazing to me, 29 years removed, that people still really hold on to that season. And, you know, we're all hoping that the current Brewer crop provides new World Series memories for Brewer fans. But, you know, that year coming off 81 when we had a chance to taste the playoffs after the strike season and all that, you know, we just felt it was our time to kind of go to the next level. And the way the season unfolded and coming down to the last weekend and Robin having that big day in Baltimore against Palmer and then coming back against the Angels, just a lot of things, you know, fell into place. I don't know about Robin. I still think about not having Raleigh near the end. That might have made a difference. But to get to your first World Series at a relatively young age, no question, that was my most special season as Robin's, as a member of the Brewers.
And put you a little bit on the spot here, current players that impress you or guys that you like to watch. I know St. Paul native, there might be a guy that kind of reminds you. He's kind of a throwback guy that plays for Minnesota right now, a line drive hitter, gap to gap. I'm talking about Joe Mauer, obviously. He drives in a lot of runs like you used to without hitting the home run. Is that a guy that you like to watch? You
know, Joe's an incredible talent. As a catcher, to win 3 batting titles by the age of 26 and an MVP, it's an impressive resume, and he's got a long way to go. But a player that I enjoy watching, he's kind of starting to wind it down a little bit, but is Michael Young from Texas. He's a guy who's changed positions. He's hit different spots in the lineup, a little bit of power, a little bit of speed, versatility. I've always kind of liked the way Michael's gone about his business, kind of feel a little comparison there, too.
Robin, any player that stands out in your mind?
Well, I'm a Derek Jeter fan, you know. Not necessarily a Yankee fan, but I sure like I'm very impressed with Derek Jeter and the whole package. You know, he's a team leader, clutch player, doing it in New York. You know, he's had a wonderful career to this point. I'm sure he's a future Hall of Famer, I'd have to believe. And just a class guy, I think he does it. He's the whole package, and he's kind of and I'm a little biased toward shortstop.
And I think he's going to bounce back and have. A lot of people said, last year 270 or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't think it was an age thing. It was just maybe one of those years. But I think he's going to come back and have some good years.
As far as the Brewers, I'm sure a lot of the current fans want to hear what former Brewers think about the current group of guys. And obviously there was big moves made this year. Zach Greinke and Sean Markham to really solidify the pitching, along with Gallardo. And the last year maybe with Prince and Ricky Weeks and Braun all together. What do you make of the offseason the Brewers have had? Do you think they're going for it all now?
Well, they certainly have improved on paper our pitching staff, which has been certainly an issue the last couple of years. But let's face it, this is baseball. It's 162 games. You don't play on paper. You got to go out there and do it. But there is no doubt that we have definitely put ourselves in a better position to start the season this year than we've had in a number of years now. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how the Brewers can do this year. Hopefully we stay healthy.
Robin's more directly related, still hands-on. As an outsider, it looks like they've finally tried to bolster their rotation to back up some of that offense that they have. And over a long season, your starting pitching probably the most important component of sustaining in a pennant race. So hopefully those moves will pay off for them.
And lastly, just really quick, your thoughts, Super Bowl 45. Everybody wants to know. I know it's not a baseball topic, but are we going to be cheering for the Packers?
Oh, is there any other team? Of course, of course.
Yeah, I'm born and raised in Minnesota, and we borrowed one of your old quarterbacks for a couple of years up there, But happy to see Rodgers, finally win his first playoff game, another one to follow, and now a chance to win a Super Bowl. Quite a story.